If the idea of growing your own mini orchard is appealing, but you've only got a small backyard, a balcony, or limited space, it's worth considering growing super dwarf fruit trees. This mini fruit tree is a dwarf peach and I have 2 of them in my garden. Hi, I'm Robin and I've been filming my small permaculture garden over the last year. And this week I'm featuring my 2 super dwarf peaches that I grow in containers. The reason why I am growing peaches in containers is that I have quite a small garden and I really don't have the space for 2 full-size peach trees. Full-size peach trees grow to about 4 by 4 meters, which isn't huge, but I don't have that space in my garden. But I still want some peaches to experience that delicious, fresh off the plant, sun-ripened fruit just occasionally. So this variety is called Red Valley and it's the perfect size for a container. It only grows to a maximum height of 1.5 meters and so is really good for a balcony or a small garden. When selecting a variety of peach for your garden, it's worth considering what variety would be compatible with your climate and conditions. My garden is in a cool climate temperate region of Australia, and this peach variety, Red Valley, is an Australian bred variety and it's specifically designed for cool climate regions in Australia. This dwarf is finished fruiting now, and as we're heading into autumn, I can see that the leaves are turning. However, one of the nicest things about peach trees, aside from the delicious fruit, is that the blossoms in spring are incredibly ornamental, and they sit on the bare branches before the leaves appear. So it'd make a great addition to a flower garden. The peaches themselves are also really attractive on the plant, and of course you get the delicious fruit. People wonder whether dwarf peach trees are worth it. Do you end up with tiny peaches or low yield? And I'd say they're totally worth it. The trees do produce full-size fruit because they are full-size trees just grafted onto dwarfing rootstock, and so if you look after your plant properly, you do get the full-size fruit. So I purchased these trees during the height of COVID in 2021 as bare root. You tend to not get fruit until about 3 or 4 years, and this is the first year really that I've had fruit. So let's talk about basic care. Plants do require more effort when they're growing in a container than when they're in the ground. Everything in that ecosystem relies on you. So I tend to water daily, especially in summer, and I try to fertilise about once a month. I haven't done much pruning with these, except last winter I did have to repot these plants because their root was growing through the bottom of the pot and had taken hold on the ground and blocked the container so that it flooded. Repotting these type of containers too is quite a bit of work because the plant tends to put its roots into the wall and hold on, and so I had to very carefully lift the plant out. Be careful with holding the plant by the trunk as you're pulling it out, or you can damage it. If you do need to repot your plants, winter when they're dormant is the best time. However, if you find your plant is waterlogged, like mine was, even if it was summer, I would definitely not leave it in that condition or the roots will rot. In the repotting process, I had to trim the roots, of course. If you're trimming roots, you definitely have to balance the top of the plant by equal amounts. It was a good opportunity to trim the plant a bit and put some fresh soil into the pot. When repotting, make sure the root ball's not sitting too high in the pot. You don't want the water to run out off the top of the pot. I've been noticing how annoyingly unlevel all my pots are, and I think I've had a go at trying to straighten this one with my eye. And as I mentioned earlier, because I cut a fair bit of the root off at the bottom, I need now to trim the top of the plant. And so I focused first on the dead, diseased and broken bits, and then taking a step back, my aim was to open up the centre to let a bit more light through, and so I snipped off any inward growing branches, and I've taken a punt that that's probably enough to balance out the plant. The advantage of container planting in a cool climate is that you can move the pots around to either pick up the sun or out of frost. Also, late last year we got a really late frost. It was minus 6.3 degrees centigrade. It pretty much wiped out most of my stone fruit, my nectarines, apricots, and also plums. But because I was able to completely cover the peaches, the fruit seemed to survive. Next year, I'm going to protect the fruit from birds and chickens because I lost a lot of fruit this year through animals and the plant's small enough to do that easily. Something you get from growing your own is a taste sensation. So this is a commercial variety, and what happens with commercial peaches is that they're stored in cool store, and cool store actually ruins the flavour profile of a peach. It alters it. And so the only way you're ever going to taste that succulent, juicy, gin dripping flavour of a peach is to grow your own and sample it. I think back to T.S. Eliot's poem where J. Alfred Prufrock says, "Do I dare to eat a peach?" So what he was thinking of in that social setting was it would be too messy. It'd drip down his arm and chin and he'd look messy in a public setting. If he bit into a modern peach that had been bought from the store, he'd be all right. The peaches are hard and have a crisp, almost apple texture to it instead of a juicy, soft flesh. J. Alfred is not going to have to worry about the condition of his chin. To store your homegrown peaches or ones you've purchased, avoid the fridge and store in a paper bag at room temperature. Cooking also brings out the sweetness and softness in a disappointing peach. I'm going to make peach Melba. I don't think I've ever tasted it before. Peach Melba was invented by French chef Auguste Escoffier at the Savoy Hotel in London in 1893. To honour the Australian opera singer Dame Nellie Melba. My recipe is based on Nigella Lawson's peach Melba. She poaches the peaches in her recipe, and the original was fresh, but I've halved the sugar and also replaced cane sugar with monk fruit sweetener as a substitute. The peach Melba was absolutely delicious and I'll definitely make it again. The recipe did mention a half a cup of sugar in the raspberry mix, but I wanted a bit of tartness to my flavours, so I left that out. It also suggested peeling the peaches, and I left the skin on because I'm a skin on gal, and I highly recommend straining the raspberries for the seeds. And now, in the true spirit of the peach, 92-year-old artist Joyce and myself sat out on a warm, sunny afternoon and expressed our love for peaches through watercolours. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the subscriptions, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye.